Hello, everyone. Welcome to the One Conscious Love Network. I'm here with Doreen. We actually met online, but I'm so happy that you're here and that you booked this time for us to introduce you and get to know you better. So please, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone how is it that you shed your light in the world?
Oh, that's such a beautiful question. I like it. Shed your life as opposed to what do you do? Because that's partly who I am and what I do, or what I'm about is helping people tap into the essence of who they are. I'm a psychologist, and I've been doing that for about 40 years now. And I'm also a fearless speaking mentor. And that means being able to tap into the truth of who you are. And I love that you're asking about it as a spirit, that people have inside of them a radiance, some power, and they hide it. And my work as a psychologist is to help people uncover the root cause of their anxiety about speaking up in public.
That's such beautiful work. What got you started into that?
Oh, my own fear. Yes, yes. I had a PhD from a prestigious university, the University of California in Berkeley, and it was in psychology. And I was able to start my practice and become quite successful. I had done some research at the university. And yet, as long as I was in my office one on one, I'm a great listener. I think that's one of my superpowers.
Mm.
But put me even in a small group, Melanie. Ooh, I could just I can remember what that felt like. I
Wow.
was I hate to say the word crippled, but it feels like I got so anxious. My heart would beat so fast and my head would pound, and I had terrible, terrible anxiety about speaking up in front of I would just say people call it public speaking anxiety, but it was even, in a small group, wasn't necessarily about a stage as such. Of course, I would never do that, but just, even in a small group. So I avoided it because you can avoid speaking up in public. You could just live your life saying, "Hey, I'm just a little bit shy," or "I'm just a little bit nervous." So don't ask me to, start the program. It's something that I think a lot of people who have anxiety about speaking up in groups can live with. And there came a point in my own life where I was confronted pretty much. Somebody said to me, who was trying to get me to speak on a stage, and I said, "Oh no, I have public speaking anxiety. I have stage fright. I can't do it." And she said, "But doctor, isn't fear your business?"
I like that.
That was a confront, right?
I like that. Yeah. I was gonna say, even before the schooling, like before reaching those higher school levels, I'm sure you had some experiences as well in even elementary and high school presenting different things to class. And, I wonder if there was something related to those events or even doing the family parties and,
You're
having to
naming
present the
you're naming them. However, I got good at this outer shell. And
Mm,
uh, I looked successful, even all the way getting the PhD doctor. Uh, but early on, even in high school, I was homecoming queen. I was popular. I was ahead of the pom-pom girls. And that's another thing that I think in the work that I do with people is they have like an outer protective, like nobody would know that what's going on inside. So that's more of my story. I know a lot of people I work with are remembering way back when where they were so either silenced by parents or the culture says you should not speak to your elders only when you've been spoken to. There are a lot of cultural messages that little kids get. But I would say I found a place where I could pretend. And I didn't feel like an imposter. I mean, it really felt like I knew how to be out in the world, but I could hide.
Hmm. No. Well, I'm so glad that you found your voice and your courage and also just the calling of doing it right. So people that come to you, what kind of situation? Is it a catalyst that they now have to do something and they have to get over, or is it more of a desire, long kind of longing for something different?
First, let me just say I really appreciate your listening.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and the questions you're asking seem to be the ones that help me go deeper into, yeah, I think you're already seeing the range of people that I get to work with, and it's from those who have been traumatized either by like a teacher or bullying or parents, of course, is a place where people don't find the confidence to be who they are because they weren't supported by their parents. And then there's the growing up, maybe like I did, thinking that I was okay until I got into college and into further down my life where I realized this is difficult. I'm having all this nervousness. Why? And that those places where people might have gotten stuck, no matter what, there comes a time, either like you said, I'm just tired of being quiet, or I'm just tired of holding myself back, to, hey, I've got this job interview. I need to show up. Or I've got this opportunity for advancement. Oh, I need to help, Doreen. I need to find my voice. I need to be able to have this sense of my own power so that I can, advance in my career. Or somebody who's written a book, they found their voice to put it on page, but they haven't found their voice in order to show up on a podcast to talk about their book. So there are all sorts of, I would say, situations, but it comes from, and this is why I also value mindfulness and working with those who understand what mindfulness means, is they have to become first, I have a challenge, a problem, a situation, whatever we want to call it, and I need help. And a lot of people who find me appreciate that I am not just a coach, but I'm somebody who knows how to do the inner work and be able to gently, I love to be gentle and guide them through fear, because fear is what's stopping them. And that's what my programs and my book and my work is all about, is helping people break through fear, not get rid of it, but to be able to transform it into more of a magnetic presence.
That's so beautiful. I love it. And I love that there's easy, digestible kind of pieces to this puzzle so that people that are just getting to know you can get started with the book maybe and then get to know you more and work with you through that. And so you're speaking about the fear and the not finding your voice. And I think that's something that I commonly see with people, particularly women that I work with, is that blocked throat chakra. Like there's a lot of blockages there, and there's less importance given to their voice and to their experiences. Do you find that it sometimes goes to that depth as well, or is it mostly that just the idea of that public speaking is the fear? Does it go much deeper to the bottom of their personality through that?
Yes, yes, yes. I started it. I didn't tell you my full story, but you understand already that I was hiding, and that I didn't quite understand what was going on with me. Of course, therapy, and it was actually more of the inner work where I went back and tapped into what was going on when I was 5 years old. My mother had depression and she was in and out of the hospital. And my grandmother would take care of my sister and me. And when mom would come back from the hospital, my grandma would do this, put her finger over her mouth and say, "Be quiet, or your mom's going to get sick and go back into the hospital." Woo! When I uncovered that as one of the roots of where I hold myself back, ooh, I better not, that kind of, it's deep. It's in our psyches. It's in our, uh, in the structure that was beginning to form as really young, 5 years old. I'm being told to shut up. Wow. And so that helped me go, oh, I need to have this new relationship for the little one inside of me who is still inside of me sitting as a doctor in psychology in a networking event afraid to express herself, so that's I had to go back and say hello little one in there. I'm let's have a conversation. I do a lot of dialogue with parts, so that would be, yeah, you're smiling, so I think you understand that for sure, right?
I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. So when you're working with people, you're working one-on-one in groups. How does someone get started with you?
Yes, I have various ways in which people get started with me. One is just one session. Let's just see what we got here. Another is a 5-week accelerator, fearless speaking accelerator,
Mm.
where we can do more. And because, one session we can have a breakthrough, but how do you anchor that, practice it, go out, and then come back and refine it? Refine it, meaning whatever you're learning, whatever strength that we found inside of you. Uh, I always, there's so much to say. And then I also do group, because groups, sometimes people feel like they'd rather be in a group because that's a practice place for them, a safe practice place to find their voice.
That's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I always ask everyone, what is one conscious love to you, since it's the One Conscious Love Network?
Oh, I think that inside of us, if we can drop down, you see what I'm doing here with my hands and then dropping down. Uh, I go down for a sense of consciousness. I know some people go up, but there, to me, it feels like first there's got to be grounding in a sense of being right here, right this moment, looking around and just being in this awe of being alive, being amazed by that. And I feel like when I'm that spacious inside of, and that in the moment and that open, it feels like love starts to, there's love that vibrates or radiates. And when I work with people, yeah, I look at blocks and I look at the pain, but I think healing comes from being able to go through and go, wow, to the individual I'm working with. There it is. There's your power. And I think love is a power for sure. And I think it's I was going to say in our heart, but I think our heart is in every cell of our bodies.
That's so beautiful. I love that. I love that. And yeah, I agree with you definitely. The rooting and the anchoring into our own self experience is so deep. And then it projects so largely into the world and attract the same vibration and frequencies. So beautiful. And that's probably how we've met.
Yes,
I
our
love that.
our healing, our vibration, and then yes, I agree. I think there was something kind of synchronistic, and I'm kind of when I get little chills on my I just go, oh, There's somebody that understands what depth means. There's somebody who's not trying to rush people to go faster than they can, who understands mindfulness, who understands love. So, yes, I'm very, very glad I get to have this conversation with you today because it feels like we get to know ourselves on a deeper level, and that's so rich for me in life.
Agreed, 100%, 100%. So for everyone watching, would you like to share anything else with them?
Well, in the Find Your Voice method it's got four, I would say, phases, stages. And the first is to discover more about what your fear is. And that's a lot of the internal work. And then the second is about presence. So I teach a lot about how to have the way inside and be able to anchor in this now moment. And I do that with connection, which is the third stage, and then expression is the fourth stage. So people come to me thinking they want to be more expressive, but we don't get to that till until we make sure that we've cleaned up and through the discovery phase, we've cleaned up whatever is holding them back, the blocks. We've learned how to quiet the mind, still the body, and we've been able to learn how to connect one person at a time, to listen, to actually open your eyes so that your eyes are wide open and available. And then we get to expression, which is more about authenticity. So I wanted to give that explanation of the work that I do. And that's, it's not quite the last word, but I wanted to get that in today.
It's beautiful. I appreciate you giving us the full picture because particularly this time of year, I feel like a lot of us are not truly authentic to who we are, particularly with the holidays coming up and
Yeah.
even participating in the family gatherings. And you always have like your family self, and then you have your real self. And there are people that are struggling to really reconnect those two. And so I hope that they're watching and they're going to reach out to you and really deeply connect to their self identity so they can really show up in the world. I think that's beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for being here. It was such a pleasure to get to know you a little bit better. I hope you'll be back again. I feel like I have so much to learn from you, so I hope that you'll be back and sharing again with myself and everyone that's watching as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to open up the space for exploration with you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you again soon, Dr. Doreen.